A PLC technician in the US starts at $50,000 to $80,000. 5 years in, salaries push well into six figures. In South Africa, the range is roughly 450,000 to 650,000 rand. In the United Kingdom, 35 to 55,000 pounds. In Australia, 80 to 120,000 Australian dollars. These numbers come from current U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data and recent recruiter surveys. The path to a job in that range is shorter than most people assume, but only if you pick the right certificate, in the right order, and prepare for it the right way. Here is how to do that in 2026. The first thing to understand is that there is no single PLC technician certificate. When people say the phrase, they usually mean one of four different things. There are vendor-specific certifications, like Rockwell and Siemens. There are vendor-neutral certifications, like the ones from the International Society of Automation. There are employer-issued certifications, where a large industrial employer puts new hires through their own internal program. And there are TVET and apprenticeship qualifications, which are common in South Africa, the UK, and parts of Europe. Each of these has different weight in the job market, different costs, and different effort to obtain. Pick the wrong one for your situation and you waste a year of preparation time on something that does not move the needle. Vendor-specific certifications come from the PLC manufacturers themselves. Rockwell Automation runs 3 main credentials: the Certified Automation Professional, the Studio 5000 Logics Designer Specialist, and the Control Logics Field Service Engineer. Costs range from roughly $1,000 for the specialist exam, up to several thousand for instructor-led training plus exam. Siemens runs a parallel ladder of certifications: the Certified Automation Technician for entry-level, the Certified Automation Engineer for advanced work, and several role-specific credentials around safety and motion. Mitsubishi, Omron, Schneider, and Beckhoff each have their own programs, structured similarly. These certifications signal to an employer that you can walk into a panel running their hardware and be productive on day one. The downside is that they are expensive and they only cover one vendor's ecosystem. If the plant you want to work at runs Siemens, a Rockwell certificate helps you less. Pick the vendor that dominates the industry and country you want to work in. In automotive and food processing in North America, that is Rockwell. In European manufacturing, in most of South Africa, and across the Middle East, that is Siemens. Vendor-neutral certifications cover the principles of PLC programming, not a specific vendor's syntax. The International Society of Automation runs the Certified Control Systems Technician at 3 levels, plus the Certified Automation Professional Credential for engineers. The National Occupational Competency Testing Institute runs job-ready technician certifications widely accepted in U.S. manufacturing. These cost less than vendor certificates, usually in the $300 to $500 range, and they signal something different. A vendor-neutral certificate tells an employer you understand ladder logic, scan cycles, electrical safety, motor control, instrumentation, and basic troubleshooting at a fundamental level. They make sense for technicians who want flexibility across different employers or for people changing industries. They make less sense if you already know exactly which vendor you will be working on every day. For most early career people, an ISA Certified Control Systems Technician credential is the strongest first cert because it opens doors at any employer. Employer-issued certifications exist inside large manufacturers. Companies like Toyota, John Deere, Anglo American, and BHP run their own internal PLC training programs and certifications. These are usually free to attend, but they only count inside that employer's network. They are excellent if you can get hired into one of those companies. TVET and apprenticeship qualifications follow a different path entirely. In South Africa, the N4 to N6 mechatronics and industrial electronics pathways feed directly into PLC technician roles. Many TVET colleges have direct hiring pipelines into local plants. In the UK, Level 3 and 4 engineering apprenticeships do the same. In Germany and Austria, the Ausbildung dual-track system is even more direct. These take longer than a certificate, typically 2 to 3 years, but they include paid work experience and result in a recognized national qualification. For someone starting from school, this is usually the best option financially. The decision tree is straightforward once you know what to weigh. If you already have a specific employer in mind, look at their job posts and see which certifications they list. Get one of those. Do not guess. If you are early career and your goal is the first PLC technician role anywhere, priorities of vendor-neutral ISA certification plus hands-on portfolio work. The vendor-neutral cert signals competence. The portfolio proves it. If you are mid-career changing from a related field, electrical, instrumentation, mechanical, go vendor-neutral plus one targeted vendor course. If you are in South Africa, the UK, or Germany and starting from school, the TVET or apprenticeship route gives you paid time to learn. Usually the best option financially. If you are freelancing or contracting, vendor certs from whichever vendor you bill for actually matter. That is the case where vendor-specific is the right primary cert. Once you have a cert, the job titles to search for are not always obvious. The phrase PLC technician appears in maybe a third of relevant postings. Other titles to search: controls technician, automation technician, instrumentation technician, electrical technician with PLC experience, maintenance technician with controls focus, and field service engineer. In the US, controls engineer is the higher-paid version of the role, typically requiring an engineering degree. Controls technician usually requires the cert plus hands-on experience, but not a degree. In South Africa and the UK, instrumentation and control technician is the most searchable phrase. Salaries vary by industry too. Food and beverage tends to be the lowest paid sector. Oil and gas, pharmaceuticals, and automotive pay highest. Power generation and water treatment are in the middle. Within each industry, working night shift or being on call typically adds another 15 to 20%. For any of these paths, the practical preparation is the same. You need to be able to write ladder logic confidently. You need to know the scan cycle, latching, timers, counters, basic safety circuits, troubleshooting wiring problems from a panel drawing, and basic PID control. The free tier on plcsimulationsoftware.com covers all of those, with about a dozen scenarios you can run in your browser. Do every scenario, then start writing your own rungs from scratch. Pick a real industrial scenario, design the program, build it, test it. The certification exams test the same skills, just dressed in the vendor-specific addressing. The simulator builds the foundation that every exam tests, regardless of which cert you eventually take. 3 common preparation mistakes waste people's time. The first is jumping straight to vendor-specific software before understanding the fundamentals. Spending 3 months learning Studio 5000 menus before you can write a working seal and rung is backwards. The menus are the easy part. The second is studying without building. Reading textbooks and watching tutorials does not transfer to passing a cert exam or doing the job. You have to write programs, run them, debug them, and break them. The third is overweighting credentials over portfolio. A certificate plus 3 working programs you can demo on a laptop in an interview beats 2 certificates with nothing to show. Hiring managers want to see code, not just paper. Build a portfolio in the simulator and bring it to every interview. A certification on its own does not get you hired. A certification plus 3 or 4 working programs you can demo gets you hired. Build the programs. The certificate is the gate. The portfolio is the key. And remember that the entry-level salary is just the entry. 5 years in, with 1 or 2 vendor certs and a portfolio of plant deployments, the ceiling is much higher than most career changers realize. Start free at plcsimulationsoftware.com. Build your first 3 working programs there. Then commit to the certificate that matches the job you want. Next video covers how to actually program a PLC from absolute zero for people who have never written a single rung. See you there.